Hello, hello, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 513. Happy Friday. Cheers with some coffee. Went to the grocery store yesterday, picked me up my favorite coffee, the peanut butter crunch from Door County Brewing or Door County Brewing, Door County Coffee. There's also a Door County Brewing Company. Happy Hoodie Friday, sporting the Badgers. I saw a tweet yesterday. I think they're tied with Baylor with the most quad one wins going into Selection Sunday, which is now two weeks away. I think just over 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks from Sunday. In fact, I think some of the conference tournaments begin today. I think my alma mater's conference, the Summit League, I believe they're starting out in Sioux Falls, South Dakota today. I use the Score app for like my sports stuff, but it doesn't. One thing that I don't like is that it doesn't show the conference tournament because I saw like Western is playing Oral Roberts I think on Saturday, uh, and it doesn't say it's like in Sioux Falls, South Dakota at the new arena there. Actually, it's probably not new. It's probably 8 years old now. Um, Summit League tournament. And I have not since since my alma mater upset uh, Nebraska, which I know Nebraska's bad, but it's an upset when a low major beats a Big Ten team. So March to the Summit League tournament. Okay, I Summit League tournament. Anyway, nobody cares about the Summit League tournament. I think it starts today. What's up, Jenny? Good morning. So, what is up, Ed? Good morning to you. Um, I don't have really much to talk about. I have a ton of work to do today because I didn't do much shipping yesterday because I was trying to sort and organize, and I feel like I went backwards yesterday. Do you have those days where you like bend over backwards working, and then at the end of the day it's like, God, I didn't get anything accomplished. I feel like I'm more behind today, right now, than I was when I started the week. And yet I've been working through. So I was, and that's, I think I talked about it yesterday. I was so ill prepared with this bulk lot. You got to make a mess before you make it organized. That's very true. That's very true. And I'm the type of person that a mess, like, I'm a very messy person, but it also like I feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Like I am pessimistic in that regard. Like I'm never gonna get this room organized. I'm never gonna get this room cleaned up. Yes, every day ending with the letter Y, right? So I feel like I went backwards yesterday, and it was kind of like but late in the day I realized I'm the reason I'm going backwards is because I don't really have a plan because I was ill prepared for this Goodwill lot. Like I did not expect it to be as good as it was. And there's still a couple boxes in my car that I know there's like, it's kind of like that first box that I showed pictures of, like, wow, this box is going to pay off the entire lot. And then one card did it already. Um, so I know there's more boxes, and it's going to be again. It's not going to be a home run like that rare card that I sold a couple days ago or a Mike Trout rookie. I don't expect to find anything like that with the boxes that are still in there or the boxes that I haven't even really gone through. But um, I just didn't realize there was going to be so much stuff that I can use. Because with the first lot, it was like a lot of stuff I could just pitch right away. Like, okay, I'll even if they're banged up, like the Cubs, I'll keep, even if they're banged up. But the rest, it's like garbage, 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 going into the recycle bin. Um, and I was able to like really mow through, and there wasn't the volume of decent cards. Like it was a lot of commons. Now there was a lot of good stuff, but there was a lot of like just junk that I, either tossed or I could fit in one or two, three, 4 row boxes, and it was nice and tidy, nice and tidy. But this, like, it's going to take multiple 4 row boxes of the stuff that's sales worthy, which is awesome, which is really awesome. But I wasn't prepared for that, which is not awesome. So I decided like late afternoon yesterday, okay, first, what I talk about, I gave three pieces of advice when buying a bulk lot. And one was have the space, and that was kind of like last on the list. It became the most important, I realized yesterday. Space is number one. Supplies like boxes, even penny sleeves once everything's sorted. So storage boxes number one, um, along with space. And I don't even remember what the other tip was, but the two that I just mentioned, I realized, okay, I need to like get my butt in gear. I need to create space, and then I need to get some, do some consolidation, get the boxes. So I came in here and so behind me is like the main room. It's basically a rectangle. This room's like a rectangle, maybe a square or rectangle. And then there's like a cubby back. You can't see it. It's back in that corner. And so I have one of the big shelving units back in that cubby, and then one of these plastic shelving units back against the far wall. So it's actually a decent sized space. I can get a lot of cards back there. So, but it was a mess, and I had like boxes piling out over onto the floor. So that was like okay, I need to really tackle this area because I can consolidate and create some space. So that's what I did, and I created one shelf that's going to be devoted to this Goodwill that's largely unsorted, but I just don't have the time, and I really need to focus on shipping and sales. I've spent a bulk of the week just digging, and digging doesn't make you money. Yes, it helps make money, but it's time to like. I went from like 11,000 listings in my eBay store down to like 10,500 because I just haven't been listing. A couple here, a couple there. No big file exchange updates. So that's what I need to focus on moving forward. Today, Friday fun, not quite. I've got to get the house clean. My wife comes home tomorrow. The cleaners come today. I procrastinate and wait until the last minute. So I've got to get so my plan for that with the cleaners today is I have stuff up in my like a box that I sorted in my office earlier in the week that I just left there because I haven't used my office this week. So I've got to get that down here. I've got cards in the living room. I've got cards on the kitchen table. My wife's out of town, so I I can use that space. So I've got to get all that stuff down here. And then least important is like my rec room. I can just tell the cleaners like don't just clean the bathroom, don't worry about the rest of the room. But if I can get to it, I would like the space. Get everything in its proper spot. And then I can take a box at a time and really dig in. So I think I gave advice after I purchased the first Goodwill lot, which was good advice for that particular type of lot. Now there's new advice for this type of lot. And I also had more boxes to utilize in that first one, as opposed where I just don't I didn't expect the volume of good stuff in this lot. Let's go to the chat. Zach is with us. What's up, Zach? Zach getting me in trouble on Twitter last night. Not real. No, she laughed. Let's see. If you feel so overwhelmed, it may be worth $100 a month for a storage unit. See if you can find a storage cube. So if I do, and I have some leads on larger collections. I think one's a collection, one's kind of like a bulk. In the event I do buy more or I find another pallet from Goodwill. In those events, I'll likely need a storage unit, especially if I don't get rid of. I've got about 200,000 commons and some semi stars that Hopefully, I reached back out. One guy fell through. That was, I think, yesterday morning. I said, "Oh, I got a message." Um, and it was him saying, "I'm not going to make it this weekend, but if it's still available at the end of April," it's like that's like 2 months away. I don't want it still available in April. So I went to there was another guy that also wanted to look at, to buy it Saturday. So I'm like, hey, it's still available. He's like, cool, Saturday. So hopefully, fingers crossed, can make a deal, so I can get it out of the basement, because it's actually, that stuff is actually in the unfinished storage area that my wife doesn't like cards being in there, because it's storage area, not card storage area. So yeah, if I buy some more collections, especially if it's a bigger, if it's like 50,000, even 100,000, I can probably manage it if I get myself organized. So I think that's what I need to do is I need to purge some of this stuff, and then I need to consolidate. It's time for a big consolidation on boxes, and just clear up some space, because I think I can still fit in, 100,000, but any more than that, I'm gonna, have to branch out, because I want to keep costs down, and I don't want to just go out and buy a storage unit to buy a storage unit just to, throw, a truckload of cards in there when I can use space in my house with no, storage unit rental costs attached. Um, then you can put tables and have your mess, but you go home to an organized mind and house. I kind of like the mess, at times. It's too messy right now, but I kind of like the quantity. I am not a Marie Kondo. Like I am the antithesis of Marie Kondo, because it all brings me joy, all of it. What's up, Diego? Let's see. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Diego. Um, the pre-cleaner cleaning is always the worst. It is, right? What's up, Cooter? Like, my wife goes crazy cleaning the day before the cleaners come. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But there does have to be, like, I get, like, you have to pick things up so they can clean the table. Like, I get that part. But like, I saw, like, I like some stuff, it's like, just let it go. Like, we don't need to wipe the counters down before the cleaners come. We don't need to vacuum before the cleaners come. Let's see. What's up, Herman? Good Friday morning to you. Zach, if you would have bought all those supplies anticipating a Goodwill haul, would have meant the buy would have been shit. Yes, you're right. Murphy's Law. You are exactly right. Because you were ill prepared, it is filled. That's a great point. I love that. What's up, Dan? Diego, hold out for a deal from Jenny. She either has to tell you what SJS stands for or for coupon. So yeah, I think you're right on the mark with that. But I do need storage box. And I said yesterday, I'm like, maybe I'll run to the LCS, just to see if they have storage boxes at a decent price. I didn't go, and it's going to be one of those things where I have enough that I can consolidate, but I just need to, make the time to to consolidate. And I'll make the time if it means spending like $10 for a storage box. But if it's $4 or $5, which it probably isn't, that's pre-pandemic pricing. Then I'll definitely buy some new boxes. And eventually I'll put in an order from BCW and I'll get a bunch, just buy bulk. I'll have to go check my inventory on card savers, just to see if I can keep moving the card savers at $20 a box. Um, I'll keep doing that, and then just put another order in, and there you go. Make some money off the card savers, and then I can get my boxes, get to that $1,000 supply threshold for free shipping. Um, Dan has his yearly medical checkup tomorrow morning. That always sucks, even though if it's just routine. I had mine. So we can do like our visits now through like Zoom. So I did my last like doctor visit on Zoom. But then I had to go in for labs last week. Everything came back normal, right in the range. I always like see where my numbers are and all good. So that was not fun. Let's see. Dan, did you find my Twitter? I can't find. So Rich is I think it's Saber Geek, SABRGEEK. That's Rich. Um, let's see. My job was renewed for another year. Congratulations. Forgot to mention it last month. Well, congrats. Let's see. All right. Cool. So I really don't have much else to talk about if unless you guys do. Yeah, so today I'm just going to be cleaning up. You know, I haven't decided what I want. I think I'm going to do some shipping here, do some shipping, and then I'll go tackle the upstairs first because that's the most important before the cleaners come. Our cleaners never come at like an exact time, which annoys me. Like because I want I want to know so I have that much time to prepare. Sometimes it's 11, sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 3. Bo was just offended that we were all talking to each other. You're all talking to each other. I'm gonna go. Um, are you sorting any of the bulk by teams? I am not. I actually started to. Well, not all of the teams, but my guy that does like the like that contributes huge amounts of Cubs cards. I either buy them, like I pay like half a penny a piece, I think, in bulk. And last year, I think he contributed like 75,000 Cubs cards. And I think I paid for most of those, and then I traded. And so we'll do one for one. And so right now he's looking for Cardinals and Red Sox, which are two teams that like I did my last bulk trade. So I'm like down. And so I started as I was going through, I started pulling Cardinals and Red Sox, and then it's like then I had piles everywhere. So I am not going to sort any teams other than Cubs. Um, and then I'm just like purging the bulk commons. Just because it takes, man. I mean, we all know how much time it takes to sort. So maybe eventually down the road I'll get back to that, but no team sorting. Dan received 3 packages today, one of which is the third most I've spent on a card. We'll do short videos. Very nice. So, Bo, when you selling bulk flat rate? Right now, I'm not. Right now, I'm just trying to get rid of like a whole bunch of stuff. And I know, and I'm to that point, where you just like when I started purging the from the Goodwill lot last time, I was like, I was taking like every little morsel off the, what did they like? Was it the buffalo back in the 1800s where they used like every single piece of the buffalo, whether it was for food or the fur for coats, the horns for silverware, for whatever utensils, I guess is a proper term. I was doing that. Like, I'm like, okay, this, I can sell this for $1.50. All these cards I can sell for $1.50, even Browning, Nagel, and Dan McGuire, which do sell crazily. This time around, it's like, okay, they can have all these stars. I just don't want to deal with it because I've got all this other stuff. So whoever buys this lot, hopefully the guy that is lined up for tomorrow pulls the trigger, he's going to be, happier than he would have been because there's going to be more stars. And I said up front, like, hey, expect mostly commons. There's going to be some semi-stars. There's not going to be Jordan. There's not going to be, any Cubs. There's not going to be, big superstars. But there's going to be like Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Pujols, stuff like that. Let's see. But Diego, I actually thought about doing some flat rates. I've got a bunch of NASCAR, and I hate NASCAR. I shouldn't say hate. I dislike NASCAR. I hate the cards because I don't know anything about them. I've pulled like sometimes I'll see like some shiny ones, like Prism, and some of them have been like silver. and I'll pull those out, see if they're worth anything. But a lot of the stuff that I acquired, like just 90s, like the junk wax stuff. So I've got just I probably have like 5 boxes now. I keep accumulating more and more NASCAR cards. So I'm thinking about doing, and I've actually, I think Ken actually bought one of my flat rate boxes a few years ago of NASCAR. So if there's any NASCAR fans, um, the only issue and the reason why I don't like doing that, again, it's time related because uh, you have to somewhat get them um, protected within the flat rate box. Now, I have purchased, Cubs in flat rate boxes with like no protect, like they're just cards in a flat rate box. And for the most part, everyone you'll get some dinged corners, but I don't really care. Um, so I like to at least put some extra layer, an extra layer of cardboard around. That's kind of how I ship. But it takes time. And to fill like a flat rate box, to move them from a 4-row box into a flat rate box and make sure that, cut the cardboard, like it's time consuming. And it takes me about a half an hour to do that just to fill a flat rate box. And when it's all said and done, if you sell it for like 20 bucks, the shipping's going to be 14. If you pay with goods, okay, now, I'm making like $4. So I'm making less than minimum wage. I don't even know what minimum wage is, but like $8 seems like it's less than minimum wage. So you're making like $8 an hour. So it's, that hour is worth more to me than the time spent in putting those boxes together. So that's one thing. It's like, man, I should just make these boxes, but then it's like I put one together and it's like, Jesus, that took me a half an hour and I'm gonna make $4 on this. Um, and I've thought about and another thing I've thought about taking them to like the card show and be like, hey, buy this whole 4-row box for 20 bucks. But usually when it's Murphy's Law, like Zach says, I take all these expecting, oh, these are going to blow out at 20 bucks a box and nobody buys them. And now not only did I not sell them, I have to haul them back home, which I don't want to do. So it's one of those things where um it sucks. Jenny says I just sorted my 2022 by team. I'm putting all 2022 baseball in its own box for eBay. Faster to pull than putting it with teams that are all years. Cooter's heading south today to go to the Dallas Card Show tomorrow. It has become a great mini national. Awesome. Yeah, Dallas Card Show this weekend. Probably why Uncle Rich is not with us in the chat this morning. Um, let's see. That 70s card show. I have a slabbed BCCG Kerry Wood with your name on it. Ah, I like it. There's Jenny's Twitter name. Question with all the new inventory, what happens to the bulk in back of you? So actually, all of that stuff behind me, that is all Cubs. And I've ran out of shelving. You can see it goes almost to the ceiling. There's also boxes spilled out over the floor. So that's about 750,000 Cubs cards behind me. And there's 2 shelving units. They're stacked up on the floor. They're in between the shelving units. They're over on the side. You can't see off camera. You can't see on either way. But those are all Cubs cards. This is all my eBay inventory. So this shelving unit here is all eBay inventory. And then there's also eBay inventory. These boxes, like half of this shelf, well, these 2 shelving, that's all eBay inventory. And then all of that's Cubs. And then over there off camera is like a lot of stuff that is eventually going to eBay or eventually going into 25-cent and dollar boxes that I just haven't had the time to completely sort through. So this like room is kind of like all the good stuff. And then there's a shelving unit over there that's going to be the new Goodwill stuff that I haven't even gone through yet. Ed, have a great Friday. You too. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Let's see. Jenny says this bulk lot you were selling. If you were a buyer, would you drive 5 hours one way for it? Honest question. Curious if it's worth the drive. I mean, for me, no. But I also know what's in there. It's It's basically 200,000, mostly commons. Um, there's some newer stuff. It's a lot of junk wax. Um, I would not I would not drive, several hours. What I'm hoping is for somebody local, we just meet up in the Menards parking lot or whatever Target parking lot, and get it done. But I would not, because it's a lot of there's a lot of like 25-cent card inventory, but there's not going to be like a bunch of dollar cards or anything like that. Um, Although there are some like plaques, there's a bunch of binders, there's a bunch of pages. So I don't do binders and pages for the most part. I have some of my Cubs collection in binders, but there's a ton of binders. Some are actually nice binders. They're like the baseball card. And now that I say that, it's like, man, maybe I should switch out binders and keep those. Um, so and I think it's to each their own. For me personally, I would not, spend the money and time on it, but somebody else might. And it's kind of like when I buy these lots, like here's a perfect example of it's not for everybody. The first box I posted, and it had all the color, all the Prism draft, and there's color. And I had so many like people, not so many. I had like a handful of people like, "Oh, that's the stuff I throw on the garage floor. Oh, those are the commons." I like that attitude because those type of people that poo-poo on these $5 card, all these crappy $5 cards, that's where I'm making my money. It's because people like that toss them, either donate them to Goodwill or, like, "Oh, I'll sell you this for a penny a card." And I turn pennies into a penny into a dollar, essentially. So, to each their own. Like, to me, what I'm selling is not worth it. That's why I'm selling it. Um, but to somebody else, to somebody with a similar attitude, like, what I have towards that first box I posted, and some of the other comments were like, "Oh, that's crap. That's the stuff I throw on the garage floor." It's like, well, I'll come over and sweep your garage floor and take the cards. So, and then they shut up real quick. Let's see. DR, what's up? At 4.20 a gallon for gas. Gone are my days of casually driving to Targets and Walmarts looking for retail. Luckily, I get to my first card show on Sunday in Syracuse. Very cool. There's another card show popping up here in Wisconsin on a Saturday. I'm all for new card shows popping up, but we're running out of Saturdays. So if you're gonna put on a card show, at least here in Wisconsin or Northern Illinois, please do on a Sunday. Like I'm like very close, like this close to promoting my own show on a Sunday, just because there are none. Every new show that's popping up is on a Saturday. And when I started my show last April, I wanted Saturday shows because there's so few. The last show that was promoted here in Madison was a Sunday show, and I just don't like Sunday shows. But now it's like now there's a need, and a lot of my vendors that set up at my show, they're like, Tony, who runs the Oak Creek show, he says, I've got 3 Sundays open in April because there's no shows. So it's like, the I think we can make a decent show happen on a Sunday. And I don't want, when I talk about promoting a Sunday show, I don't want it to build it up to a 100 table show, but I think a 50 table Sunday show would be good if if it all works out monetarily. I don't want to break even, do all the work and break even or lose money on something like that. But if the room rental is a good price in a good location, which that's tough. Like location, location, location. If you want a good location, you're going to pay more. And some of these venues charge a lot. So yeah, I don't know how. Oh, Dr. was talking about the Syracuse show, so that'll be fun. That'll be in a Sunday. Cool. I haven't seen gas prices here. I don't drive that much. Like the only driving I do is to Target and Walmart, in the post office. So I don't even pay attention to gas prices. Like I'll notice, when I fill up like well, like probably every couple weeks because I'll do shows, or go to, the suburbs. But it's like, "Oh, wow, this is more than I paid last month or 2 weeks ago." But I think when I filled up last, and I always try to fill up in Wisconsin because it's always cheaper in Wisconsin than it is in Illinois. There's a lot higher gas tax in Illinois. It was like 3.30. This was about a week ago. I think it was like 3.35 maybe. I can't remember. But I've seen some posts where it's hit $4. So I'm sure it's gonna hit $4 here eventually, but we're still in the threes. John says, I've been struggling lately with onboarding so many commons into my collection as I log them into Beckett. It's been a test of my will. Yes, it's so time consuming. Just like I was having a conversation through DM yesterday, and somebody asked me like, well, what are you gonna do when you reach 1 million? And because I said like I'm to the point where I just want to buy 250,000 Cubs cards and just call it a day. Like I've enjoyed the 1 million Cubs project and getting to 1 million, but it's become work, and it hasn't become work. It's just I get inundated with trade requests, and I just don't have the time to do trades. And so it's a chore just answering and I hate saying no, but it's like I just can't do trades, and I get trade requests like every day, and it's almost like it's become a job to answer the emails on the trade requests. And in fact, I have like Dan, the box I got from Dan, the box, I think Herman, there's something from Herman. I've got like a month's worth of mail that I haven't even opened. I've got four, four or five flat rate boxes of Cubs cards that I have not opened. I've got PWEs, I've got bubble mailers that I haven't even had the time because I know they're Cubs cards. I do open if I'm expecting something from eBay. I do open that just to make sure, because I have you have a time limit in case it's not as described or not the right item or whatnot. So I do. That's why I open and I share my eBay mail days just because it's a transaction. But like when cards just come in, Cubs cards just come in, they go on the chair, and so I and I mentioned I'm like it's becoming work. And so they asked, "What are you gonna do when you reach 1 million?" I'm like, "Well, a year ago, it's like I'm gonna celebrate, and then I'm gonna organize, and I'm gonna log it into trading card database, and now it's like I'm gonna put it in boxes, and then I can say I have 1 million Cubs cards, and then I'll keep collecting. I'll fill in, buy tobacco cards. I'll buy, every new product. But I won't be looking for bulk. Um, in that, like, I won't be chasing 2 million Cubs cards. So anything like that. So, and it's like there's no way I'm going to organize it. It's like I'll probably go through the boxes, and kind of like last year when the pandemic started, when I was working from home, I had all that extra time. Before I really ramped up my eBay store, I was ramping up my trading card database, and I was sorting through. I was pulling Javi Baez, Ron Santo, Ernie Banks, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, those like superstar cards, and I was gonna begin logging those into trading card database. But then eBay said, "Hey, you can have 50,000 free listings," and I'm like, "Hey, I've got plenty of cards that I can utilize that." And so began the journey of working full time selling cards. So now it's to the point where it's like it's way too time consuming to sort the Cubs cards and organize them. That I'll probably pull like the stars and put those. Here's my Ryan Sandberg collection. Here's my Chris Bryant collection. Just make sure, because you can pull a box. There could be a box. I'll just point to this box right there. You could open that box right there, and it could be filled with 91 Fleer, and at the end, there's a stack of like tobacco cards. Like nothing is organized. So I'll do somewhat organizing. I'm missing a lot of chat as I ramble on about the Cubs cards. Let's see. So Herman says I get my base bulk sent in flat rate boxes, and for the most part, they show up fine. Yep, I haven't had, outside of a few dinged corners, even when they're not, even when they're just put in flat rate boxes with no protection. which is maybe I'll do that with, save time on if it's NASCAR. And maybe I'll do a test run, in the next couple of weeks and see if it's actually worth the time. I thought the cards were off to the side. So, oh, Diego, that's a good point. They were up until last June. So when the Card Life came and filmed, I wanted the so I talked earlier about the cubby. I've got two shelving units back over here in the corner in a cubby. That's where all the Cub stuff was. But all of a sudden, the more Cubs cards I keep getting, it filled all the shelving units back there, and then I just had a mountainous pile. And it's like, man, I need more space. And then the Card Life says, hey, we're going to come over and film. It's like, I don't want them to film this gigantic mess. So I cleaned up the card room, and that's when I put all my Cubs cards there. So it had a better look for filming. And it's more space as opposed to just confined in the corner. So yeah, I did have them off in the corner until last like May, June, before the Card Life came over. Let's see. It kind of represents the Cubs organization in real life, a stacked up mess. Couldn't have said it better myself. The lack of uniformity of your Cubs boxes is messing with my OCD. And yeah, isn't it funny? Like we're all like, I love the randomness of, some people want to know exactly every card they have. It's perfectly in spreadsheets and they know exactly what they have. I'm the opposite, where I love surprises. I love opening a box and, oh, hey, I forgot about this, because there are people like that. You see it on Twitter and, hey, I just pulled this pile of Shohei Ohtani rookie cards. And a lot of people don't believe, well, how can you just randomly find Ohtani rookies, a stack of Ohtani rookies? Believe me, you can, because I am that type of person that a couple of years ago, you could find Ohtani rookie cards in dollar boxes. And then all of a sudden he blew up last year and they're whatever they were, $20. So that's the fun part. And that's what I like, just being disorganized, going and finding a box. And it helps me because it prevents me sometimes from selling too early. And yes, sometimes it's like, well, I missed the boat on this guy. I should have sold him earlier on. But some guys develop late, like we're talking Bowman here. It's a lot of fun going back through your Bowman boxes 3 years later, because there's some real hidden gems that at release, they weren't the guy to collect, to speculate on, I should say. And you come back 3 years later, and there's some good stuff in there. Herman says, I'm always having to hunt for pages for my binders. Herman, I think I have a bunch of, are you particular about the binder pages? Because I can send you a bunch, but they're going to probably be, several different kinds. So if you are particular, I'm particular about when I do put cards in binders, like some of my Cubs are in binders, I'm very particular with the pages. I like them uniform. I like them new and uniform. I have a bunch of old used, that are in decent shape, but they're not all, going to be the same type. So some are like the hard plastic, some are the softer. So let me know. Hit me up, either in the chat or shoot me a DM. I won an auction 5-row box of 92 tops in a shoebox. Found a Mariano Rivera rookie. That was my Mike Trout moment. There you go. That's a good moment. Won the auction at $11. That's very nice. Card Turf Wars coming to A&E. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. I have not heard about that. Bowman, a 92 Bowman. That's a really nice card. Sundays would be good. I know lots that work Saturdays can never make shows. So that was when I talking about promoting a Sunday show. That was kind of the reason I think that we had a Sunday show here, was because a lot of people had not just work on Saturdays, but kids playing little league sports, and even high school sports plays on Saturdays. So that was kind of one of the things where it's like, well, yeah, Saturdays are good, but we have YMCA soccer, or we have a high school baseball doubleheader. So that was kind of why Sundays were good. And there's arguments both ways. For me, I liked Saturdays more because I'm more like Saturday's my day of like going out and shopping and doing stuff. And I don't have kids. Um, and Sunday I just like to sleep in and kind of lounge around. I don't like to really leave the house on Sunday. So that's kind of that was my mindset when I wanted to promote a Saturday show. And I didn't want to go head to head competition with the other promoter. I wanted to do a completely different type of card show. His was small in a very small room. And I wanted, a bigger show, and I wanted a Saturday show. Cooter says, I enjoy your dollar content. I prefer it far more than watching Pelican heads trading $2,000 slabs. Definitely. Um, there's a place for it all, but yeah, I'm the dollar. I love dollar box finds. I love digging through, a 50-cent box and finding a $20 card. And that's because I'm cheap. And I've always been a bargain collector. Like I worked in radio for, a decade, and there's no money in radio. So for me, back in my 20s, like a $20 blaster was a big expense for me. And that's why, I've always been attracted to the bargain bins and finding deals, because that's how I started out collecting way back in the day. And how I continue. Let's see. 92 is my next set, Diego, once I finish the 80. Let's see. Took a chance on it just because of the shoebox. Sometimes those, like I was talking about the other night with Goodwill, sometimes it's like the random shoe boxes that have the really good stuff. Like the 800 count boxes and the monster boxes, they seem to be pretty organized, sorted, cherry picked. But it's those shoe boxes that's where the money is, from my experience. Um, let's see. We need to get our next TCDB show scheduled. Diego's video about trading advice. There's Uncle Rich getting ready for second day at the Dallas Card Show. Wild feeling having no cards and just repping comp. See, I met OG last night. Oh, very cool. That's okay, Rich. That's so. Steph DM'd me last night and mentioned him, and he didn't like come out and say what was going on. He just said OG card scammer. And I'm like, I don't know what do you talk? Do you know him? He goes right in front of us. And I said, well, who is it? And it was kind of a weird back and forth. So that's what he meant. OG was in the house. Very cool. That 70s card show. How's the booth going, Rich? Morning, Rich. Just gave you a follow on Twitter with my new account. Let's see. Shoot, I skipped down. That 70s card show. I know how you feel, Bo. My Tinder inbox is overwhelming. I always dream about what Sandbergs are in Bo's boxes. Maybe eventually I'll show off, because I do have, and actually I owe, so one of my customers, like in November, um, gave me a stack of Cubs cards, and or actually I think it was like the show before it, and he goes, I'm looking for an 85 Donruss Sandberg. I'm like, yeah, I have a whole bunch. I'll bring them to the next show. Well, I forgot. And then when I forgot, I made it a priority to find an 85 Donruss Sandberg. And I've like spent hours looking through boxes. I have several Sandberg boxes, and for whatever reason, I cannot find that damn 85 Donruss. I'll probably come across like a pile of 200 of them eventually. But I'll have to get out. I can show off my Sandbergs, and I can find an 85 Donruss and get them over. Let's see. I have boxes that are all mixed up. We have a lot organized for trading, but specific boxes that are random. I have a ton of 2017 Bowman Chrome. Think I should keep sitting on it or bulk sell at this point. So typically my personal rule of thumb for Bowman in Heritage Miners is I have a 3-year rule. Anything prior to that can mostly be, you can dump it in whatever form or fashion. Like If they're first chromes, first Bowmans, throw them in a 25-cent box at this point. Every once in a while, you're going to have somebody break free, but the further you get away from that 3-year mark, the less and less players are going to, do something and explode. So 2017 is kind of right on that border. Um, I would say bulk them out, or throw them in quarter boxes if you have a booth. If you do quarter boxes, but I have generally a 3-year rule with Bowman. So like I'm not like 2017. Like if I find a 2017 box, I'm likely just gonna put them in my quarter boxes. Um, and if somebody like gets hot, if we have baseball at some point, if somebody gets hot and they were in 2017, I'll feverishly go through those boxes and look. Herman, I know people who are moving their 90s binders to shoe boxes and have tons of pages and binders. If you're willing to pay the shipping and a small cost, we'll get them to you. John, too many people swiping right when they see you. Let's see. They just want the wisdom of the oldest full-time college student. College is easier when you put it off for 35 years. Hey, I can attest to that. Not to 35 years, but I put college. Well, I got my 2-year associate's degree right away, and then I didn't continue. And I worked in radio for 12 years, and then I went back at age 29 or 30. And the even the wisdom, like even the wisdom in your 20s, like, and it's very minimal, but it makes a huge difference when you go back. And I was not I looking back, it's like, yeah, I wasted 10 years of not going to college. And I shouldn't say waste, because I was not ready to continue my education at age 20. And it was the best decision I made. Not conti- My parents were pissed that I just got my associates and worked in radio, but it was the best decision I could have made. And it brought me here. By if and I went to business school, which was any kid, any high school kid or college, or if you're considering going back to school, I would highly recommend business school. Get a marketing degree or somewhat similar, depending, just go to business school. Just the general courses in business school prepare you immensely for the real world. And I know, like, when you're 18, I was there. It's like, oh, I want to get it in I don't want, but like my friends would say, I want to watch what I say here, but I'm going to go get an RPTA degree because it's easy. The classes are, or just a general comm degree. And I would advise not taking the easy route. Go to business school. It's a little tougher, especially when you get into some of the accounting and finance classes. But um, if anybody younger is watching, I looked at my demographics, and I don't think anybody younger is watching based on the demographics I saw when I looked at my YouTube channel numbers yesterday. I don't think anybody that age is watching my videos. It's like it's I should tweet out the demographics for this channel. It's like 35 to 44, like 75% of my viewers are like 35 to 44. And then the other 25% are like 45 to 65, or whatever the next demographic is. It's like uh, 0 to 18 or whatever, zero, like 0%. And then it's like 18 to 35, 0%. It's like, I'm surprised I don't have like a 30-year-old watching. Um, and then like all everybody else is like between the ages of 35 and 65. Pretty funny. Let's see, not particular about pages for the Braves binders, but I do use Ultra Pro for my sets. I'm out. Have a great day. You too. Enjoy going to Oak Creek. Tell Tony I said hi. Um, let's see, 84 and 85 Donruss were my favorite cards. 84 is still probably my favorite baseball card set of all time. 84 Donruss is just classic, probably because of that Joe Carter rated rookie, one of my favorites. You worked in radio. The money demo is 25 to 54, or used to be. Yes, it is. Um, Absolutely is. I'm the 0.00001% under 35, so I'm not sure where YouTube giving you those numbers. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick, and I'll give you the exact demographic because I just downloaded the YouTube there. It just cracked my voice. YouTube Studio. Let's see. Where is the well, now it looks all different than analytics. There we go. Let's see. Audience. Here we go. So there's more demographic age ranges than I had thought. So Jenny, you were not in the 0%. You're in the 6.7%. So ages 13 to 17, I have 0% of viewers between the ages of 13 and 17. Ages 18 and 24. This is a little surprise. I thought maybe I'd have at least a 0.1%. 0.0% of viewers ages 18 to 24. 25 to 34. Jenny, you're in the 6.7%. 35 to 44, 58.3%. 45 to 54, 31.9%. And 55 to 64, 3%, 3.0%. And then 65 and up, 0.0%. So, let's see. So what is that? 9, 10. So 90% of my viewers are between the ages of 35 and 54. I found that very humorous. I don't know why. I find that very funny. I'm proud to say I'm no longer in the wanted radio demo. Um, oh my God, I was AM in the 46 to bracket, 84 Donruss, great set. I have 0 viewers, easier for me to keep track of things. I've watched some of your videos. I need to do a better job of commenting on other videos because I watch a lot of YouTube content. I just never I'll hit the like button. By the way, hit the like button please if you're watching. I hit the like button and then sometimes I comment, sometimes I don't. Usually I don't. So you are getting the money demo. So I get that's a good way to put it. John, I've been waiting for your next video. Damn, you were wrong, Mr. Keating, LOL. So I ended up at like the 15-minute mark. I said, well, I'm going to wrap it up. And then here we are, 52 minutes later. Smash the like button. And my coffee is cold. I can tell when I've gone long. It's the last couple sips of my coffee are cold. What does hitting the like button do exactly? So it basically likes help the algorithms. So the more engagement, whether it be like comments, likes, it helps it's basically like analytics for a website. So like the more views, the longer the longer view time, the more engagement and interaction, much like a website where clicks and views, time spent, that helps you in your search. So same with YouTube with likes, engagement. It helps with search within YouTube. So that's why people are always asking for the likes. And yeah, comments. Yeah, absolutely. Robert, just found your page this week. Refreshingly good content. Wow. Thank you. That's awesome praise. I really appreciate that. I'm retiring in May and considering doing something similar as a hobby and small business. Robert, I am more than happy to help you and give you any advice. I don't know if you're on Twitter. Twitter's the best place to reach me through DMs. I'm at 1 million Cubs on Twitter. 1millioncubs.com. You'll have my address. Sometimes I miss emails because I still haven't figured out how to get all my eBay emails into a folder. But I'm more than happy to give advice on stepping into doing hobby as either a side hustle or starting a business. I can't wait to get enough views so they can play that timeshare advertisement before my content. The Arnold Classic is in Columbus this weekend. Giants everywhere. Very cool. I am on Twitter. I'll touch base there. Thanks. You bet. I appreciate it. Thanks again. Nothing going on this weekend for me. I did buy a big fat ribeye steak last night, so that's going to be my last bachelor week supper since my wife comes home tomorrow. Uh, so I'm going to throw a slab of steak on the grill. It's going to be warm. It's 25 right now, but I think it's going to warm up in the 50s. It's going to be in the 60s tomorrow. In the freaking 60s. It's going to be like 66 degrees tomorrow in Wisconsin. So I may actually go, take the bike out, and just do a quick little ride just to get it back in, um, get back in the saddle for both me and the bicycle. So so I'm gonna grill the steak tonight, and maybe tomorrow. And today I've got a lot of cleanup to do. So that's my weekend. Not really Friday fun for me. Um, I am one of very few that don't want people to like or subscribe. Makes me anxious when I know people are watching. It's not weird. Some people are like that. What's really cool is you've taken that step to put yourself out there, because so many people don't want to put themselves out there, which I get it. Like, not everybody is has that type of personality. Like, my friend Scott, I've mentioned him before, hated social media. And he had a couple different careers before he went into being a financial advisor, and he hates putting himself out there. He hates putting himself on Facebook. He's on Facebook, but he doesn't really use it. Um, YouTube was like, there's no way in hell a couple of years ago he was going to go on YouTube. And he's like, in 2 years ago, he's like, I don't know how you get on there and you just talk. He's like, how do you do that? But now he's doing it and he's crushing it. Like, I just hit 1,000 subscribers this week, which was like huge cause for celebration. And he's at like 5,000 subscribers. And, he had a video go viral with like several 100,000 likes or several 100,000 views. So it's everybody's different, but you've made that step to put yourself out there. So that's like the biggest hurdle, is actually putting out the content and doing the videos. But I get it. Like, when people are watching, it's like, when I was in radio and when I was doing if I did a random Tuesday night game on radio and I did play by play, if I did a random Tuesday night game between two small schools that were 500, like, there was no pressure. There was no pressure. It's like, it was just go and do your work. But then when I went to the college level, and my alma mater, going back, gonna bookend it, Summit League tournament, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We were a 5 seed, and we won our first round matchup against North Dakota State, the Bison. We beat them. It was a good game, and they were the 4 seed, so small upset, but just kind of like, it was a toss up game. And then in that 4-5 matchup, now we've got to play the top seed, Oral Roberts, at the time. And this was their last year in the conference. They were moving on to what they thought were greener pastures, which they ended up not being greener, and they came back, and they're back in the Summit League. So we played number 1. They had a kid named I think it was Dominique Morrison, I think was his name, like a stud. Like I'm pretty sure he played at least summer league in the NBA, and he might have had a cup of coffee in the NBA, but he was just an absolute stud. I'm sure he played in Europe. And we beat them. We beat the number 1 seed, Oral Roberts, and it was so great. Scott Sutton, Eddie Sutton's son, was the head coach. He was kind of abrasive, just an abrasive personality. So it was really nice to beat them. It was awesome. And then, so that puts us in the championship game on ESPN2. I'm courtside doing my radio thing. And that's when I got nervous, because if we win, we're going to the NCAA tournament for the first time ever. And here I am bringing that radio call back to everybody at home. And a lot of people, like the sports bar, my favorite sports bar, they used my audio in the sports. And this is this is Diego. This was kind of how I felt the same way. Like, this wasn't like a Tuesday night high school basketball game. Like they're playing my radio call in the sports bar with the TV muted, and so they can watch the game, and then my call is being distributed throughout the bar. And that's when I'm like, oh shit, I've got to be on my like A++ game. This is very nerve wracking. That was my moment where it was like I felt those nerves. Like this is not. It was real. It became real because normally it's just a job. Like any job you do, no matter what it is, it's just you go through the you essentially you go through the motions. But then there's those moments, whether it's a big proposal to a client or just a meeting with, you know, head honchos with a lot of money on the line, like then it's like nerve wracking. Yes, extremely nerve wracking. And it's kind of that it makes everything real where it's kind of your wake up moment where, so I totally get it. Like I totally get, you go through the motions. Like I go through the motions every day of, doing videos, putting out YouTube content. And it's just like, it's second nature. It's just like, hey, I'm just hanging out in my basement talking cards. But then when I'm on like when I'm talking to Ty on Bench Clear Media, which has like 12,000 YouTube subscribers and, it's going to be viewed a few thousand times. It's like, now I'm a little nervous because there's a lot more people watching and I've got to be on my A game and I've got to, like, here I can just ramble and I can forget things. But there it's like, when you're on a bigger stage, it's nerve wracking. So Diego, it's not weird at all. Not weird at all. Because I think we've all been in those types of situations. 80s and DFW this weekend before a light cold front. I'm jealous. Although tomorrow's going to feel like the 80s. Shorts and barbecue weather. I think today I almost went shorts and hoodie. That's like a famous Midwest wardrobe. Shorts and hoodie. Let's see. That's because I was John's first visual guest, and that was enough to scare away any future viewers. So I'm just gonna wrap up with the chat, and then we're over an hour, so I've got to run. I've got a lot of cleaning up to do. Just went down a rabbit hole, want to hear a story. Imagine trying to hold your own with Richipedia Klein. I love that. Richipedia Klein. Richipedia. John, you are on your A game this morning. Let's see. But I do it because I need to let someone know that I'm excited about something. Definitely. That's why I started doing this. I wasn't talking to anybody besides my wife, and she just doesn't share the excitement that I have about cards. So I had to get on here and share to the community. I'm hanging out in a basement talking cards. There's a pickup line. I'm married, so I don't need pickup lines anymore. And that was not, I did not tell my wife when we started dating, hey, you want to come up and see my baseball card collection? I did not use that on my wife. All right, so I'm gonna wrap things up. I've got to go. I've got some cleaning to do. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm gonna drink another cup of coffee, drink a pot, so I have a ton of energy this morning so I can get this cleaned up. My goal this weekend is at some point in the next couple days to get another Nostalgia Breaks. I'm talking to a guy I met on the internet. Is to get everything cleaned up and then do a Nostalgia Break because it's been too long. And I've got packs of cards that I've like been waiting to open. And every time I look at them, it's like, oh, I just want to open them now, but I've got to save it. So I'm going to do The Simpsons first because that's like the probably the most nostalgic pack. So I want to do that one first, and then I'll do Howard the Duck. So probably not today, but maybe. Usually when I say probably not, that's when I do something. When I say, yes, this afternoon, I'm going to put out a Nostalgia Breaks video, and I don't. So at some point this weekend, be safe, spend money on vintage this weekend. Love the cards. Thanks, everybody. Great chat. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the comments. Have a great weekend. I will be on tomorrow morning. Not sure what time, probably between 8 and 9 a.m. So peg 8:30-ish. So sometime between 8 and 9 tomorrow morning. And then I'll be on Sunday morning as well, same 8 to 9-ish, and then Monday back at 7. Have a great Friday, and we'll talk tomorrow.